I do want to say, so we're back in the East Coast. We're off of our Great American Pilgrimage. And I've been at the gym on the treadmill, and up on the wall, they have an MSNBC screen and a Fox News screen. And it is remarkable because here you have the elite class in America really wanting to shut down RT and other news outlets. And yet they can't see why people don't tune into them, why people no longer listen to them and vote the way they want them to vote. Because you look at it and it's just filled with gossip. It's filled with nothingness. It's filled with no news at all, describing the entire geopolitical and economic landscape. It's all filled with gossip about various Congress people and lobbyists and inside, not even lobbyists, of course they don't mention lobbyists, inside political people that nobody cares about this stuff. It's literally just gossip and trashy gossip.
Is it gossip or is it propaganda and scapegoating?
True.
So here's Rachel Maddow not reporting on the hard news of corporate malfeasance and maldoings. Is that a word? Maldoings? Misdoings. Misdeeds. Instead, talking about gossip, talking about innuendo, and scapegoating. Oh, you voted for Trump. You must be in league with the devil. There's no news on MSNBC. There's no news on NBC, CBS, ABC. There's a little news on Fox, but not much.
Yeah, like, for example, I had been on Twitter, and a tweet went through my stream from one of these, these former CIA-run outfits now, and Atlantic Council trying to save the West, save democracy, and by saying that all of our problems, every issue is about Russia. So they said that there was this congresswoman from Florida that Trump got into a fight with. I forget her name. It's like Erica Johnson or something like that. She wears a wacky cowboy hat, and she is apparently in a spat with Donald Trump. Anyway, they said that it was trending because Russian bots were trending this. So I had never heard of this woman. I didn't know what it was about. And then that's when I was in the gym on the treadmill, and all they were talking about was this woman for like 10 minutes straight. And I was like, who is this woman? Why are they, don't they see that it's like a schizophrenic sort of moment now in American history? So the fact that, Italy's two richest regions, for example, this weekend, have decided, they voted for independence. It's a non-binding vote. But this tells you what's going on in the world is that all of these bailouts, like we were talking about, all of these sort of wealth and income gaps emerging, all this theft and fraud going on, as what's happening in Italy is because of the banks collapsing and taking all their money with it. They're missing all of the big stories, that the Chinese Communist Party having their Congress and, setting out their path for the next 30 years of how they're going to rule the world. And you tune into American news, and what they're talking about is gossip, 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 and this woman's cowboy hat, and what's going on. Like, none of it adds up to anything. And if you feel kind of nauseous and sad that they can't see that they're ill.
I thought it was like a Gloria Gaynor revival concert. This woman with a purple cowboy hat. Woo, 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 woo. Like, I thought maybe it was like a disco revival or something. Apparently she's a politician somewhere. Yeah. And she's making baldacious claims.
I don't know. We don't want to get into the gossip. She's actually like a scientist or a doctor, and then she became a congresswoman.
Scientologist?
No. She's actually like a very highly educated, smart, really talented woman.
She disguises it well.
But some people say Max wearing the same vest every day says something about him. But
brand awareness, branding.
Again, I want to call attention to this China Congress.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's get into the news. Let's not do gossip.
Because that was in the news.
Yeah.
It's not covered on the American news.
China has a Congress?
Well, they have every 5 years they do a Congress that says like what the next 5 and then 30 years are going to look like. Mm-hmm. So here's how the Australian press is laying this out, while America, descends into a gossipy pit of pointing fingers elsewhere. China's 30-year deadline to rule the world China's leader has laid out his ambitious plans for a superpower in a 3-hour speech with huge implications for Australia. He said it was time for his nation to transform itself into a mighty force that could lead the entire world on political, economic, military, and environmental issues, The Guardian reported. The Chinese nation has stood up, grown rich, and become strong, and it now embraces the brilliant prospects of rejuvenation. It will be an era that sees China moving closer to center stage and making greater contributions to mankind.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, this is not reported on MSNBC. Rachel Maddow is not doing any of her dot connecting about any of this. Like, the world is just patiently, adult-like, moving on and growing and moving forward, while America descends into this weird political show. Speaking of Gloria Gaynor and the sort of disco stuff, I mean, it looks like a cartoon. It looks like some sort of satirical show. It's hard to tell which is a satire and who's more satirical, like Saturday Night Live or Trump. Like, which one's mocking who?
Alec Baldwin, who plays Trump on Saturday Night Live, has announced he's going to run for president, and people are saying, well, who would know the difference? And it would be a great debate. And entertainment is more valuable than political reality. And I'll bet you $100,000 that Rachel Maddow doesn't have a passport. Or if she does, it's not up to date. They don't know what happens outside of the bubble in Secaucus, New Jersey, or wherever they tape her show. And they think that China is a country out there where they import a lot of iPhones and tacky, smoky pork bun.
Well, it's, I suppose, in the bubble of the elite, they think that their propaganda, that we are the greatest, we're the shining city on the hill, like it's morning in America, all these sort of things. They don't go outside.
She's the Donna Karen of news. In other words, Donna Karen famously, defended Harvey Weinstein. Yeah. And her brand hit the gutter immediately. So here's Rachel Maddow trying to pretend as though there is no world outside of Secaucus, New Jersey, and that nothing happens in China that's important anyway. And the rest of the world is like treating us, America, like Donna Karen post Harvey Weinstein. They're like, who are these, like, brain dead, non-working, poor idiots?
Donna Karen defended Harvey Weinstein, Donna Karen being a fashion designer, by saying it was the clothes those women wore. They shouldn't have done that.
Well, it's typical, blame the victim.
Yeah.
Here are all these women getting raped, and the poor Donna Karen saying, well, they wore the wrong Donna Karen outfit. How's that helping your brand? It's brand suicide. America's committing brand suicide.
Yeah.
Because the things that America's supposed to stand for are being dragged through the mud by Rachel Maddow and other folks at MSNBC. And other media outlets that are reporting gossip, innuendo, nonsense, and failing to report the news.
And so in the last minute that we have here, I want to say, because you won't see this on MSNBC, you won't see Rachel Maddow talk about this, you won't see any of their news programs, opinion programs talk about this. And that's just a simple chart. And this only goes up to 2010. And that's the wealth and income gap going back to... for the top 10%, the top 1%, how much of the wealth of the nation they control. You see this is back in the teens and the 20s, and then World War II. And this, this period of, more equality in America.
Yeah, World War II was a great equalizer.
Yes.
That's why we're heading back to a world war, because everybody at the bottom of this list wants to get back into the middle.
They do. And, when you tune into MSNBC, you don't see the economic aspect. When people say they want to make America great again, they just mock them and say, oh, it's all about, white supremacy. And I'm sure there are lots of white supremacists there. But there are people still alive that remember this. This is only in the 80s that it started to rocket inequality again. You and I remember when America was more equal. And I think, anyway, this is my observations from the treadmill.
Wow, treadmill journalism.